You guys have your Not Scary Farm. You guys have your Halloween Horror Nights. But imagine you went to a place that showed you Camp Crystal Lake. It showed you not only the set and the props, but it also scared the soul out of you when you saw Jason Voorhees stalking about as you were checking out these cool sites. Imagine you were now walking into Derry. You were walking around the house and seeing poor, ripped off limbs just hiding everywhere and posters looking for kids, just to find out that you have now teleported yourself inside of the world of Pennywise the Clown. Imagine you were vibing and ended up accidentally walking into an ordinary house, just to find out, you done ended up stepping into the Conjuring home. That's what Warner Bros. Horror Made Here experience was. Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. As always, I am TheParkGod, and I had no idea Warner Brothers even had something like this. It wasn't until like years later I found out that they even had an event like this, because if you guys didn't know, they are partnered with Six Flags. Six Flags has a lot of their IP, and so you would think, why would you guys make a horror event that would then somewhat compete with your Six Flags event for Six Flags Fright Fest? Which is what I thought. That's what I thought, but apparently they had an entire thing, and this was different than any other horror maze or horror event you went into. This thing was probably the most immersive thing I have seen a Halloween event do, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today. If you guys like theme park horror stuff and all things entertainment wise, please consider hitting that subscribe and like button and join the Park God and our family. Look at all the room that's here for you guys to join. Anyways, let's get into the video, shall we? So back in like 2016, Warner Bros decided they were gonna dabble in the Halloween game. I mean, they've got the IP, you know, they got It, they got Conjuring, Annabelle, The Exorcist, Friday the 13th. Like, they have their own horror empire that, in my opinion, is the closest rival to Universal Studios themselves. They called it Horror Made Here, and it took place on the actual WB Backlot in Burbank. You'd get to walk through real production sets like old streets from movies and TV shows, except, you know, this time they were completely decked out for Halloween. Like, imagine walking past like the set of Pretty Little Liars or the Gilmore Girls, but it's filled with fog and blood, and a 6'8" dude walking around in a Jason Voorhees outfit, just chasing you around. It kind of sounds like a great experience to me. They didn't even try to play it safe either. This wasn't just a boob and some strobe lights that you will encounter at a lot of the other horror events. The It experience was a full-on house maze. It had a creepy basement, there was red balloons everywhere, and there was, yes, the projector scene. In The Conjuring, they also had their own terrifying maze where even the Conjuring nun would actually come out and try to scare you. Arkham Asylum, I mean, the fact that they even had an Arkham Asylum horror area. They turned part of the studio into Gotham with the Joker's henchmen just running loose and a bunch of other DC twisted villains. And of course, Friday the 13th. There was woods, there was cabins, there was Jason himself. It was pretty intense, and these mazes were so different. There was also plenty of food trucks, there was themed cocktails, SFX horror makeup demos, a behind the scenes look of how they ended up actually making these films. But this event felt different, okay? It felt different from Universal Horror Nights or other smaller iterations, right? This one was way more personal. You weren't just in a park, you were on a real movie set surrounded by real props and things. And from what I've seen online, it wasn't like you were just in a maze walking through for the next 7 to 8 minutes. Somebody came down who was a character who then basically took you on a tour from point A to point B. Like, I think the closest I've seen is Universal's Fan Fest nights. In the Universal Fan Fest nights, they had two areas. They had a Star Trek area, and they ended up actually having a Dungeons and Dragons area. By the way, Dungeons and Dragons was an absolute amazing thing to witness. In the Dungeons and Dragons area, it was fully decked out, detailed to the core, and you basically followed a story with characters while you were on the adventure. So it was like a maze, but it was not like a maze. It was very personal, very cool, and genuinely I enjoyed doing that. In fact, I wish all the events at FanFest Nights did the exact same thing, and I can assume they took some inspiration from when Warner Brothers did their thing. This was like that, but it was all horror, which one could assume is probably extremely terrifying. So here is the million-dollar question. If it was so good and other people liked it, why did it go away? Well, a few things. First of all, Warner Bros. Is not Universal Studios Hollywood. Universal Studios Hollywood has a theme park infrastructure, tons of guest space, and their sound stages aren't as active during haunt season, right? Like, this is a film studio that has always been used to mixing in their Hollywood aesthetic and their film production aesthetic while also catering to the amusement park world. Warner Bros. Is a working studio. That means real productions, real TV shows, films, and movies and post-production are happening 24/7. Unlike Universal Studios, Warner Brothers ships their IP to theme parks separate from where they actually shoot their movies. Things like Six Flags, Movie World, all of those things are separate from where they actually shoot, unlike Universal that shoots and has the theme park in the same area. Having thousands of guests screaming and sprinting around, it just does not fit the vibe of a live set filming Abbott Elementary next door. They also weren't pulling the kinds of number Universal does. Horror Nights brings in around 10,000 plus guests a night. Warner Brothers event was more limited. It was smaller. It was smaller nights, limited capacity, which made it great for the fans and it made sense for their personal walkthroughs of the mazes, but not so great when it comes to making money. Look, I can't lie. I am a little bit salty that not only did I not even know about it, I'm probably not going to be able to experience it again. I'm sure Warner Brothers enjoyed doing that, and maybe if they have a whole string of more horror movies coming out, they may consider doing something like that again, which I would love to do. It would be dope if one day you went and did Universal, then went and did Warner Brothers, and then expanded after that. But I also can understand, why would they put so much effort in doing that when they could just have that same effort be put in their Six Flags Fright Fest, which, by the way, needs some of that creative input. When I was watching the videos of all of these things happening at the Warner Brothers lot that they did, this stuff was detailed. I have no idea why that is not the same thing up and that thing is dead. Love that when I'm talking about horror stuff. I just wonder, where is the effort at the Six Flags Fright Fest, because they don't have the same level mazes over there. But anyways, that's all from me. Please comment down below, were you guys able to attend this? What were your thoughts on it? If you haven't, would you have wanted to check out something like this? Because it was pretty unique for itself. But as always, I'm the Park God, and I will see you guys in the lines. Peace.